Hi and welcome to episode 3 of Thunder Greatest Games. We go back just a short period of time tonight to 2019 to the semi-final against Unanderra. But before then, we're going to go to the preliminary games against Unanderra in round 4 and in round 15. And tonight we've got a special guest. We've got a man who was part of that action throughout all of season 2019. We've got first grade coach Garth Bowley. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Pete. It's good to be here, and I think it'll be fun.
Okay, let's go to that round 4 game against Unanderra. We were 2-0 down. We hadn't had a good start to the season. What were your thoughts leading into that game?
Yeah, they put us under a lot of pressure. They were a very good side. They had a lot of experienced players in their team, and that's something that we've struggled playing against before, was experience. We've always been fit and, give teams a run for their money, but we really needed to, be smart in this game against such an experienced side.
So 75 minutes gone, we're 2-0 down, and Dan Arthur steps up for a corner. What were your thoughts?
Well, we really needed something to get us back in the game. Dan and Nathan have both got great qualities on their crosses and their passing, so you always hope they're going to deliver one of their better crosses.
And leading into the corner, if you watch the goal, there's a subtle little move by Mr. Josh Bond, which seems to be a bit of a trademark for all Bonds when it comes to corners and free kicks, with a relationship with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, so that comes down to a little bit of experience as well. Anything that can put the opposition off or unsettle them is always going to be to your team's benefit. And if you've got someone maybe put a thought in the keeper's head that maybe he might make a mistake or whatever, it might help your team. So
let's have a look at the goal. Okay, so we're 2-1 down. The pressure is still building. We're absolutely hammering and hammering and hammering, corner after corner. 88th minute, Moochie takes a corner. Nathan Moochie takes a corner. Talk us through it.
Well, I think that's when you get a bit excited, when everybody knows that we're capable of getting another goal. It's getting on in the game, so we really needed something special. The boys all pushed into the box. And also on your video, you can hear the crowd giving it to a few of their fullbacks and stirring the pot a little bit, which is always great, and that's part of your home ground advantage. So put that little bit of doubt in the defenders' heads, and Moochie delivered a really good cross, and Gussie gets in there and makes a menace of himself like always.
Yeah, Angus just absolutely gets into those situations. How does he do it?
Yeah, he just snakes around and when people least expect it, he comes in great positions. So that's really one of his good attributes, is just where he pops up. He's done it so many times for us since he's come to the club. It's great.
Let's have a look at the goal.
I like your tough stickers, number 4.
Good boy. Round 15, and we face Unanderra at their home ground. We turned the season around. We started to get some form. We started to put some results on the board. It was going to be a tense encounter. What were your thoughts?
in the past, games like this, there's a few of those grounds and clubs where you know you're really going to find it tough and you're going to have to be at the top of your game. And going to West has always been one of those teams, especially since they moved to Unanderra and got their big sponsorships and stuff like that off West. They've always been really competitive. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. And yeah, we really, really wanted to win.
47th minute, Daniel Arthur gets through a beautiful, subtle little ball, and what does he do? Puts it over the keeper's head. He celebrated pretty fiercely. What was your thoughts on the sideline?
Yeah, so it came from a quickly taken throw-in from Joshy Hutton, who was out on the right. He threw it in, it ended up with Jolie Mooch. And Joel's one of those players that can find a magic pass, and he did in this case. There was a heap of players in front of him. He saw that Dan had gotten goal side of his defender, which was a huge mistake from their right back, and fed the ball through into a great position for him. But Dan still had a lot to do, and it was a very nice finish.
Yeah, and it brought the house down. It was a very tense game on the sideline. Lots of aggression, lots of angst from both sides. There was a fair bit of tension building between the two clubs leading towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that will just do anything to try and win the game. So they'll try and get under your skin however they can. And they've got players all through their spine of their team that really love playing the game that way and trying to get in your head. And it's something that really, up until I'd say last year, we've really struggled with it. And it was just fantastic for us to be able to overcome that obstacle that we've struggled with in the past. And the boys were outstanding.
And then late in the game, they got a free kick, and who turned out to be the Golden Glove for season 2019, Liam Harris, made a save. Do you remember that goal, the free kick being lined up?
Yeah, so it was a fair way out, but Luke Picciolini's a very, very good player, and especially on the dead balls. He's a really quick little winger, but on the dead ball situations, we know he's really dangerous. And he hit, when he hit that ball, I think 9 times out of 10 that'll go top corner and no one will be able to save it. But yeah, Liam had a great effort and jumped up and pulled it out of the top corner.
It was great to get a bit of wood on Unanderra coming into the semi-finals, and now we move to the big one. First semi-final, since you've been coach, we've always got to this point, but we've always fallen short. What was your feelings coming into the game?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, we knew that we'd grown as a team in a few different ways that we had to, and just football smarts and just, you know, knowing how to handle those little things they try to do to put you off your game. We've gotten a lot better at that, and then when you take that out of it and you can handle that, it comes down to the football, and we've always trusted in ourselves to play our way and get a result.
So a very, very intense first half where both sides went hammer and tong at each other, a fair few cards, and then in the 40th minute, Nathan Mucci works his magic for Robbie to do what he does. Let's have a look at the goal. What are your thoughts on the goal?
Yeah, Mooch, a little bit of razzle-dazzle, gets down in the corner and cuts the ball back. And Robbie G, the man for the big occasion, as Kevy Lewis would say, he always seems to pop up when the team needs him in a semi-final. So there's a great header as well. Whenever it hits the crossbar and bounces in, it's always going to be really hard to save.
So we go into half-time 1-0 up. There's a fair bit of angst and fair bit of aggression coming off the pitch at half-time. What were your thoughts going into the sheds at half-time, the way the feeling was in the game?
Yeah, so the dugouts obviously being on the eastern side of the ground, all the boys walked off the ground first. So I'd actually missed out or was too far away to know what happened until I got into the sheds. And yeah, two of our boys and two of the sort of tamer guys that you wouldn't expect to be attacked sort of got a little bit attacked in the players' chase on the way off the field. But we calmed ourselves down. Like I said before, that's the sort of thing in the past that might have put us off. We calmed ourselves down, had a quick chat about that, but then moved on with what we had to do in the second half.
And we started the second half, and it seemed to continue on in terms of the feeling within the game, and a player gets sent off for Unanderra.
Yeah, so I think it was actually really clever of the officials on the day. They calmed the situation down in the players' chase at half time, and then when it went back out onto the field, everyone had been warned that they weren't going to cop anything like that. And then one of the players that had done the wrong thing previously did something silly on the field, and the referee had nothing to do but to send him off.
And shortly after, a red card to the bench as well.
Yeah, so they had a really vocal crowd as well, who were allowed over behind the dugouts, which was fine. It was created this really big atmosphere. But yeah, their bench was pretty vocal, and credit to us. And in the past, that's something I've struggled with, but credit to all of us on the bench. We handled ourselves really well.
And then they scored.
Yeah, so they got back in the game after being down to 10 men. It's one of those mental things again, you have to keep pushing your team. As a group, they have to keep turning the screw, and maybe we just took our foot off the pedal a little bit. And also, I think when you're in a team and you go down to 10 men, especially in a semi-final, you really push yourselves to try and do something special. And they did, to their credit. They were a very good side.
So the game goes to extra time, and then they score in the first half of extra time to take the score to 2-1. What were your thoughts at that period?
Yeah, so it was pretty hard to get your head around and to try and put it to one side and not think, oh, here we go again. Just kept faith. Everyone kept faith in what we were doing in the group. We probably pushed a little bit harder to try and get a goal. And yeah, then, we kept pushing and pushing.
And then in the second half of extra time, a long ball from Joel Mucci goes into the box, and we'll watch what happens. At that point, what did you think?
Yeah, so like we spoke about before, Moochie found a little bit of space. I think DA was running into, putting pressure on their right back, and the right back sort of got caught a little bit, put his arm out, and we get the penalty. It was a little bit of luck that we needed to get ourselves back in the game, but it was due to us putting a lot of pressure on them.
Let's look at Josh Hutton's goal.
He's got it right! He's in!
So 124 minutes have gone in this game. Players are starting to cramp up. There's more cards in this game than there are in a newsagent's. We've got absolutely everyone on their toes. At the same time, people are starting to flag, and we get a corner. Talk us through the corner.
Yeah, so we got a corner, a really big ground as well, Wollongong United's ground. Beautiful ground, but really big, so you've really got to whip those corners in. Moochie was on it, and Dan made a run to near post, flicks it on, did really well with that. So smart just to put it in that danger area. Flicks it on. Oscar, who'd just come on not long before, putting a lot of pressure on, drawing a couple of defenders and nodding it down to our other substitute, Joshy Bond, who made sure that he finished it really well.
And it's one of those goals that everyone says, I was there when I saw it happen. Yeah, and there's lots of videos, and I'm going to post lots of videos that people had of that goal. Unanderra did something very silly at that. Just before that particular period of time, a player went down injured, and they called on the strapper, who literally just strolled onto the field, walked the width of the field, and the referee removed the player from the field and said, get off the field until I call you back on. So they were in effect down to 9 men. Did you notice that at the time?
At the time, no, I didn't. No, but it was one of those games where I think we've always been one of those teams that was a lot fitter than most of the others. And when you see our guys cramping up and getting tired, and the opposition are really going to be struggling, so. I don't know whether they had a choice to bring on the strapper or not, but anything that helped us out, I'm glad for it.
So it was one of the best goals of all time, do you think?
Well, I think just for what it meant for the boys, I think it was brilliant. You expect Joshy, someone of his quality, to put that away all the time, but what it meant to the group, you can see everybody there was just like, going crazy. Even all the boys that had come over behind the dugouts and stuff, they went absolutely mental. And that's such a nice part of the club, is a lot of those boys that were over behind the dugout some of them were Reggie's boys, but a lot of them are guys that play elsewhere that have been juniors and come through the Thunder. And, you got Strutters and Corey and guys like that who are still down there supporting the boys. It's brilliant.
So after the game, amazing scenes. Back in the dressing room, I don't think I've ever seen something so exciting as the mood amongst the whole squad. Not just the team, but the whole of the Thunder squad. Plus people, as you said, who played for the club before, who were there for the day. What do you remember of that moment?
Yeah, well, I think it took us quite a long time to get back into the sheds after the game. We were celebrating for a while out on the field. We were pretty happy about it. But yeah, once we got in there, I wanted to let the boys enjoy it and soak it up, and everyone, you know, there was a bit of a party atmosphere. We were all really relieved that we'd got the job done, because that was, like you said earlier, a hurdle that we hadn't managed to get over. So we felt once we broke through that, then, you know, we could do anything. So
let's have a look at those scenes.
What a fucking move!
One last thing to do, let's take the roof off this place.
Well, that's it, Garth. Thank you for joining us tonight on Thunder TV for Thunder Greatest Games Episode 3. We hope we're back on the field fairly soon so we can produce some videos this season.
thanks, Pete. Great to be here.